Story that we're tracking is the fact that Indigo CEO Peter Elbers is set to meet the 4-member committee of the DGCA tomorrow. That's the aviation regulator. In fact, the same committee was constituted on December 5th to investigate the massive flight disruptions that impacted Indigo's operations. The panel is undertaking a comprehensive review of what led to the breakdown in flight operations. My colleague Danish Anand joins us to explain the key developments that have taken place so far and more information on the committee members.
Indigo CEO Mr. Peter Elbers, he has been summoned by the 4-member committee that was formed by the DGCA on the 5th of December. And this was right in between when we were seeing massive disruptions, when we were seeing massive cancellation of flights by the airline. On 12th of December, Mr. Peter Elbers expected at the DGCA once again. Even today he was there, but today he held a meeting with the DGCA. But tomorrow, the 4-member comprehensive committee will be conducting the meeting. And in this particular meeting, they have been tasked to find out exactly from the CEO that what went wrong, what really led to such large-scale disruptions, which lasted for many days, which stranded many passengers. Besides this, we also saw that there was massive passenger inconvenience across all the airports, and a lot of flights have been cancelled. So these will be certain key answers that the committee will be expecting from Mr. Peter Elbers. But besides that, the committee will also be looking deeply into the entire operations of Indigo. That what is the current fleet size? What are the plans of Indigo of hiring more pilots? Because we know that as per the initial statement by the airline that they were unable to comply with the new FDTL norms. So that was because they were unable to properly roster it. So such questions and such decisions, not decisions, but such things will be asked by the committee to Peter Elbers. And it is also expected that he will be talking about the restoration plan, because we are seeing that from the past 3 days, the on-time performance of Indigo has remained steadily over 80%. So things are improving. And at the same time, the airline is also following the 10% curtailment order, which was passed by the DGCA just a few days back. So currently, the airline is operating over 1930 flights, which is in compliance with the reduction of flights by the DGCA. So tomorrow is another big day for Indigo. It is another a big moment when we will actually come to know that what actually went wrong with Indigo and what is the airline planning to do to not repeat this again.
Thanks so much for that, Danish. And as DGCA viewers seeks answers from Indigo for what and why these disruptions happened in the first place, Indigo has also announced a mega compensation plan that promises to offer travel vouchers worth up to 10,000 rupees to severely impacted customers. Now, this is in addition to cash compensation of 5,000 to 10,000 rupees as per government guidelines. But do note that this payback would depend on the block time of the flight. And according to NDTV Profits calculation, Indigo will likely disperse vouchers worth up to 340 crore rupees, assuming 85% capacity utilization. Remember, passengers whose flights were cancelled within 24 hours of departure time between December 3rd and 5th will be eligible to receive this compensation. And for those who booked tickets through third-party travel partners, Indigo said it will cater to them too, provided a mail with proper details is shared with the airline on the given time. But I now have Mark D. Martin, CEO at Martin Consulting and Aviation Safety and Aero Consulting, as well as Bharat S. Kumar, Associate Partner at Sai Krishna and Associates, to discuss all that's happening in and around Indigo. Thank you so much for joining us, gentlemen. Let's start with Martin. Martin, with over 4,600 Indigo flights cancelled between December 3rd and 5th due to pilot shortages and technical glitches, how do you assess the airline's rostering and fatigue management practices under the new FDTL Phase 2 norms, especially after, Indigo has claimed that it did not really falter on those norms, it followed them?
Thanks for having me. Good to be on NDTV. I think we have to be very clear with this one fact, that Indigo has not adequately compensated for the number of pilots they have. In Indigo's own submission to the DGCA and the ministry, they have declared and disclosed their total number of crew. Clearly, this is purely as a result of the new FDTL regulation not being incorporated in the airline. While other airlines, Air India Express, Air India, Akasa, SpiceJet, have all not just recruited pilots, they set in the procedures, They also brought in systems and policies for crew rest, accommodation, and transportation. Now, Indigo is trying very hard to convince the traveler and the regulator that this is because of a software glitch or system or weather. Well, guess what? You can't pour wool over our eyes anymore. The weather was perfect. There was no fog in Delhi. The systems were fine. There was no Microsoft outage. Even Microsoft has confirmed it. All evidence and all fingers point towards their crew. Now, my point here is very simple. Even if if crew had no problem and there was no issues with crew, then why did you cancel 1,000 flights? You should have only canceled 200 or 300 flights and operated the 1,000 from Delhi. There was no need for you to cancel all 1,000 flights and leave passengers stranded. So, Indigo needs to think twice before it makes these absurd statements. Indigo should be more mature. They are the market leader. If they want to remain in the market leader position, they must, maturity is needed, and along with that, responsibility, because the Indian traveler and consumer is not stupid and he is not naive. He or she are not, is not naive. We are very well aware of what goes on in airlines, and we know what the competition also has to offer.
Very well said, and a strong message, to say the least, to describe what you've said. But Mr. Kumar, Indigo's announcement of 10,000 rupee travel vouchers plus 5,000 to 10,000 cash refunds for affected passengers aligns with DGCA guidelines. Do you see this as a sufficient move under consumer protection laws, or could impacted flyers pursue more claims for additional damages?
So I would say that this is more of an eyewash. Particularly considering the fact that a lot of passengers were broadly affected. Now, let's just categorize these passengers into several aspects. One would be that the ones who are flying domestically, one who are flying internationally, and I would also call another array of passengers who are probably just catching flights from that respective airport. Now, there is a CAR, the Civil Aviation Requirements, which was passed by the DGCA, amended, in fact, in 2023. It was passed a long time back. And more particularly, Section 3, Series M, Part 4 talks about the rights of passengers. To address your question, all of that is there within this. The CAR very categorically says that you have to pay something between 5,000 and 10,000 rupees to every passenger. This again is dependent on the block, like you correctly mentioned. Like, for example, if the aircraft has a 1 hour delay, there is a particular block to it, then there is a 2 hour delay, there is a block to it. And then subsequently, if there is a cancellation, there's also a block to that. So this falls between 5,000 and 10,000 rupees. That's point number one. Point number two is, now on the aspect of baggage being lost, I've not heard of instances wherein baggages are lost at this point in time, but there could be a scenario where baggage is lost, they're even delayed. Not many passengers are aware that you get for a 96-hour delay. Indigo on its own website states that you'll get a 19,000 rupee compensation if you are flying domestically, and probably a 66,000 rupee compensation if you're flying internationally. These are two aspects which are there well within the law. Let's come now to particularly the aspect of Indigo probably feeling bad about it and then compensating the passengers. Now, as a passenger, I would say that the amount of anguish and the mental turmoil, they've been grooms, they've been brides who missed their own wedding. Leave aside going for someone else's wedding. I've heard of instances wherein even people have gone for examinations, kids could not reach there. So, long question short, the compensation provided by Indigo is not sufficient. What they can further do is that they can file a complaint, a class action suit, as what is called internationally. And a class action suit can be filed in the National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission. Why I particularly mentioned the NCDRC and not a smaller commission, a relatively a district commission, is because you could file it together. Like a number of people could come together and file it, and there could also be claims made with respect to the damages aspect, which otherwise Indigo is not paying.
Okay.
So that's how I would put it.
Right.
They should file cumulatively.
Got it.
And Yes.
Mr. Kumar and Martin, I'm so sorry that I'll have to butt in and, really contract this interview really short because I'm at a loss of time. But I'd like to quickly take 30 seconds for your closing statements on how do you describe the current fiasco with regards to Indigo, and what do you think would happen at tomorrow's committee meeting?
Is that for me?
Yeah, Mr. Martin, you can go ahead and then we can go to Mr. Kumar.
So I think very clearly, just to sum up, Indigo is in this situation because of Indigo's doing. An airline which has been functioning for 20 years can't make a mistake and screw up this bad, where you will literally bring their own airline to a grinding halt. Clearly, this is self-initiated. It's motivated, and there's a definitely an intent of why Indigo did this to everybody. And the second part is the government, the DGCA, will show no mercy. And I agree with senior lawyer Bharat Kumar on the call. Yes, they will have to adequately compensate all passengers and travelers, and they will have to, the law says it in black and white. DGCA says it, ICAO says it in the convention, and so does Indian consumer laws. So Indigo need to be made accountable. They need to own up for their mistake, and they need to do the right thing. And I'm hoping they do the right thing.
Understood. They need to do the right thing. Mr. Kumar, what do you think that right thing is?
The right thing, if you will ask me, one needs to file, as a passenger, I would say file a class action suit. Let people put together, file it in the NCTRC, because it's not only about maybe you missing your flight, but maybe the aim why you took that flight was altogether, that's lost. That's one point. Just adding to what my friend Mark just mentioned at this point in time, the CA also mentions about how the airline can say on what circumstances can they say that this was not our fault. And in fact, like he correctly mentioned, the regulations were particularly mentioned to them long ago. So they can't even say, if I'm not wrong, 1.5 of CAR, that they are covered within it and they have no liability whatsoever.
Got it. I'm so sorry. We've completely lost time on the show, but thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us and giving us your perspectives on what's happening with Indigo at the moment. It really helps us and gives us a lot of points to ponder upon. And viewers, you stay tuned to NDTV Profit as we continue to give you a lot more news and updates. This is Malika Mishra. Have a very good evening.